What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. Breaking news. Breaking news. I just found out about that in this very moment at 4:01 California time. Colin Powell dies of COVID complications despite vaccine. I'm just shocked at the death of Colin Powell. That's first. Then this headline is shocking because this is not something I would think they would admit. You feel me? Because this will cut into people running out and getting vaccines if they know they're gonna die. You feel me? So I'm theorizing. I haven't read anything. I just saw Colin Powell because it came up on my Instagram feed, and I go, oh, that's a great picture of Colin Powell, and I just scroll past it, and then later on I got down and I seen something that said Colin Powell. Something was, or I'm like, was. So I immediately picked up my phone and said Colin Powell, and poof, this came up. So I'm right now in real time. I don't know nothing, but just on this, I'm saying, given the climate of everything, I'm theorizing that this is only being made public because it's Colin Powell, and that's it. Colin Powell dies of COVID-19 complications despite vaccine. Medical experts weigh in. This is going to be our issue. I can tell you right from medical experts. Who are they? You understand? Powell's death is wake-up call for eligible adults to receive vaccine booster shots, an expert said. You see, so they're going to use it as a sales point, obviously. The evil never quits, dude. Like, read the headline, the big bold. Colin Powell dies of COVID-19 despite vaccine. Does that make you want to run out and get it then? You see the reverse psychology they're playing on you? I run a McDonald's. 5 people dropped dead in my restaurant from E. coli. Quick, that's your sign to hurry up and get in there and get that cheeseburger then. I mean, that's what that says to my intellectual mind. I'm over it, dude. So we're here to find out about Colin Powell. You understand? And for me to offer some thoughts about him as he what his imprint was for me. I was not really feeling Colin Powell all like that, because he was too light, and I just feel like everybody that we turn around, the first person to do that, the first African, but you don't look shit like me, so you ain't really the first yet. We still waiting on the first. You feel me? We're still waiting. That doesn't take anything away from his personal accomplishments. Hear that? That takes nothing away from his personal accomplishments. Just that don't have shit to do with me. You feel me? That's not really visited on me. You know what I'm saying? Colin Powell did not represent me. And he was also a Republican, you see, which tells me that he definitely did not represent me. But having said that, we always offer and receive the truth wherever it is. And you'll remember that John McCain, I had glowing things to say about him. Even though I could not stand the fuck out of him and, had wished him dead and everything else. But he had some really brilliant moments that were acknowledgeable and undeniable, And among them was his concession speech, which should be mandatory curriculum for everybody in any hall of learning in this country, from kindergarten to college. I don't care. It was so eloquent, so forthright and honorable, and I see the word, but I just can't say it. It was just everything, though. I gave him high marks for that. Also, when he, was near his death and he walked in there and just thumbs down to save the damn Affordable Care Act. like just drop mic moment, you see. So he had moments where he did things that were like, wow, I'll have to respect that even if I don't like your ass, you know. Or even when he was on the campaign trail and the white bitch stood up and said, it was a town hall type thing, and they gave her the mic and she goes, I learned some things about Obama. He's an Arab, you know. And he took the mic from her and said, no, that's just not correct, ma'am. Like basically sat your ass down. He didn't say that part. I wish he had. But he was like, no, 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 no. That's not true. He's a decent and honorable family man who I happen to disagree with on some of the issues. So he had moments. And there was other times that he shut people down in his audience, you know, that were these Yahoo types who then found their messiah in Trump. You understand? So he had moments. You know, he still was a devil. Also, he was wildly funny. Very funny, John McCain. Very funny. He had this dry sense of humor that was just, it was brilliant. So that's my context for Colin Powell. You know, he had moments. He when he even endorsed Obama, he went on Meet the Press and he laid out a full thesis of why he was supporting Barack Obama for president, you know. And it was eloquent, it was perfect, it was everything. I should try and find it actually. Let me pause, y'all. Okay, this was his eloquent endorsement of Barack Obama back in 2007, leading into 2008. All right, it's 12 years ago. But this was, again, one of those moments like I was contrasting for you about John McCain. So that I didn't have any visceral dislike for Colin Powell. I did think it was a bitch move when he went to the UN and was holding the little vial that was supposed to be anthrax and claiming that, you know, Iraq had weapons of mass destruction and he was, you know, playing butt boy for Bush. But that wasn't really surprising because that's all we get from African people who rise to any place of prominence in this country. You understand? Until you have somebody like me in those positions, you will never know what it is to have a first black person doing any damn thing in this bitch. That's just real. That's not tooting my horn. That's just the damn fact of it. So, you know, that just comes with the fare. So I didn't really have no dislike for him, but I just wasn't interested. You feel me? But this was impressive. And then he also, I appreciated, I don't know if it's in this clip or not, but I also like when he was saying about how, you know, when they were talking about Muslims and they, you know, they claimed that Obama was a Muslim. He goes, well, what if he was a Muslim? Like, is there something wrong with being a Muslim in America? I mean, that was everything. I'm a Muslim, so obviously that would matter to me. You feel me? So let's hear his remarks here now. This is from Meet the Press 12 years ago when he endorsed then Senator Barack Obama for president.
General Powell, last year you gave a campaign contribution to Senator McCain. You have met twice at least with Barack Obama. Are you prepared to make a public declaration of which of these two candidates that you're prepared to support?
Yes, but let me lead into it this way. I know both of these individuals very well now. I've known John for 25 years, as your setup said, and I've gotten to know Mr. Obama quite well over the past 2 years. Both of them are distinguished Americans who are patriotic, who are dedicated to the welfare of our country. Either one of them, I think, would be a good president. I have said to Mr. McCain that I admire all he has done. I have some concerns about the direction that the party has taken in recent years. It has moved more to the right than I would like to see it, but that's a choice the party makes. And I've said to Mr. Obama, you have to pass a test of, do you have enough experience? Do you bring the judgment to the table that would give us confidence that you would be a good president? And I've watched them over the past 2 years, frankly, and I've had this conversation with them. I have especially watched over the last 6 or 7 weeks as both of them have really taken a final exam with respect to this economic crisis that we are in and coming out of the conventions. And I must say that I've gotten a good measure of both. In the case of Mr. McCain, I found that he was a little unsure as to how to deal with the economic problems that we were having. And almost every day there was a different approach to the problem, and that concerned me. It's got the sensing that he didn't have a complete grasp of the economic problems that we had. And I was also concerned at the selection of Governor Palin. She's a very distinguished woman, and she's to be admired. But at the same time, now that we have had a chance to watch her for some 7 weeks, I don't believe she's ready to be president of the United States
or anything else.
The vice president. And so that raised some question in my mind as to the judgment that Senator McCain made. On the Obama side, I watched Mr. Obama, and I watched him during this 7-week period, and he displayed a steadiness, an intellectual curiosity, a depth of knowledge, and an approach to looking at problems like this and picking a vice president that I think is ready to be president on day one, and also in not just jumping in and changing every day, but showing intellectual vigor. I think that he has a definitive way of doing business that would serve us well. I also believe that on the Republican side, over the last 7 weeks, the approach of the Republican Party and Mr. McCain has become narrower and narrower. Mr. Obama, at the same time, has given us a more inclusive, broader reach into the needs and aspirations of our people. He's crossing lines, ethnic lines, racial lines, generational lines. He's thinking about all villages have values, all towns have values, not just small towns have values. And I've also been disappointed, frankly, by some of the approaches that Senator McCain has taken recently, or his campaign has, on issues that are not really central to the problems that the American people are worried about. This Bill Ayers situation that's been going on for weeks became something of a central point of the campaign. But Mr. McCain says that he's a washed-out terrorist, but then why do we keep talking about him? And why do we have these robocalls going on around the country trying to suggest that because of this very, very limited relationship that Senator Obama has had with Mr. Ayers, somehow Mr. Obama is tainted? What they're trying to connect him to is some kind of terrorist feelings. And I think that's inappropriate. Now, I understand what politics is all about. I know how you can go after one another, and that's good. But I think this goes too far. And I think it has made the McCain campaign look a little narrow. It's not what the American people are looking for. And I look at these kinds of approaches to the campaign, and they trouble me. And the party has moved even further to the right, and Governor Palin has indicated a further rightward shift. I would have difficulty with 2 more conservative appointments to the Supreme Court, but that's what we'd be looking at in a McCain administration. I'm also troubled by not what Senator McCain says, but what members of the party say, and it is permitted to be said. Such things as, well, you know that Mr. Obama is a Muslim. Well, the correct answer is he is not a Muslim. He's a Christian. He's always been a Christian.
Oh, there it is.
But the really right answer is, what if he is? Is there something wrong with being a Muslim in this country? The answer is no, that's not America. Is there something wrong with some 7-year-old Muslim American kid believing that he or she could be president? Yet I have heard senior members of my own party drop this suggestion. He's a Muslim and he might be associated with terrorists. This is not the way we should be doing it in America. I feel strongly about this particular point because of a picture I saw in a magazine. It was a photo essay about troops who are serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. And one picture at the tail end of this photo essay was of a mother in Arlington Cemetery. And she had her head on the headstone of her son's grave. And as the picture focused in, you could see the writing on the headstone. And it gave his awards, Purple Heart, Bronze Star, showed that he died in Iraq, gave his date of birth, date of death. He was 20 years old. And then at the very top of the headstone, it didn't have a Christian cross. It didn't have a Star of David. It had a crescent and a star of the Islamic faith. And his name was Kareem Rashad Sultan Khan. And he was an American. He was born in New Jersey. He was 14 years old at the time of 9/11. And he waited until he can go serve his country, and he gave his life. Now, we have got to stop polarizing ourselves in this way. And John McCain has non-discriminatory as anyone I know. But I'm troubled about the fact that within the party, we have these kinds of expressions. So when I look at all of this, and I think back to my Army career, we've got two individuals. Either one of them could be a good president. But which is the president that we need now? Which is the individual that serves the needs of the nation for the next period of time? And I come to the conclusion that because of his ability to inspire, because of the inclusive nature of his campaign, because he is reaching out all across America, because of who he is and his rhetorical abilities, and we have to take that into account, as well as his substance. He has both style and substance. He has met the standard of being a successful president, being an exceptional president. I think he is a transformational figure. He is a new generation coming into the world, onto the world stage, onto the American stage. And for that reason, I'll be voting for Senator Barack Obama.
Done.
Will you be campaigning
That's
for him as
it.
well?
I don't plan to. 2 weeks left. Let them go at each other in the finest tradition. But I will be voting for him.
I can order.
Amen. That is General. General, bitches. General Colin Powell. And so this is the type of examples also I want to say to parents that you want to show to your children when we talk about character to your children. You know, this is so do exactly what I'm doing here. Even, you know, you can show them someone like a Colin Powell or John McCain, somebody who we would not be, who we would say is not in the best interest of our people and blah, 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 blah. But you would offer it to them to say, this is what character looks like. You understand? Do you do what's right when it's not popular and when you're under pressure or even when nobody's looking? You see, that is the make of a man. So he's a Republican and I don't agree with any of his politics and blah, 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 and down the list. But when it was appropriate to stand, he stood. And he didn't just stand. The value of showing you that was so you could see that it's one thing to say, well, I endorse, but he took his time, he was measured, and he was very thoughtful and intellectual. And he laid out completely, leaving no room for debate of why his decision was solid and informed. And that was worthy of my respect. Do you understand? He's an eloquent speaker as well, obviously. You know, he's Colin Powell, for God's sake. You know, he's an impressive man. You know, like, forget the other stuff that I don't like about him. I mean, he's an impressive man. You know, like that, I have to give that over. So, but now, sadly, is departed now. And so the former Secretary of State died Monday at 84 years of age, which I'm sure he still looked like he looked 12 years ago in that clip. I'm sure he still looked like that today because he didn't age. But from COVID-related complications, even though he was fully vaccinated, which seems to be in contradiction with their opening thing, because they say, you know, medical experts say, and Powell's death is a wake-up call now for you to go and get the booster shots, because that's supposed to save you. That's what they're saying. Am I making anything up, YouTube? I'm not. I'm reading, YouTube. I'm reading. READING. That's what it's called. All right, just so we're clear. How's everybody? There's the hors d'oeuvres in the back. But then down here, we learn, oh my God, he was what? Everybody read it, boys and girls. Read it out loud. Sound it out. Fully vaccinated. His death, medical experts say, underscores the need for COVID vaccine booster shots among older adults and high-risk populations to shore up protection so that you'll be fully vaccinated and you won't die like Colin Powell. Apparently, that's their inference. Although he was, what again, class? Maybe my eyes don't work. Nurse. Powell, General Powell. Again, you see they disrespect him. They're so eager to spread their vomit, they can't even respect his title. General Powell was afflicted with other diseases, including Parkinson's and blood cancers, multiple myelomas, which could hamper recovery from COVID infections, according to reports. His family didn't specify when the general received the vaccine, or whether that he had taken a booster shot. But you just said he was fully his family announced. His family announced. Then down here, you trying to cover your ass. His family didn't specify or whether he had taken. Come on. Also, studies have shown that certain patients with weak immune systems don't always elicit substantial levels of COVID-19 vaccine-induced antibodies, and regulators in August authorized a third dose of the bullshit. Wait, I lost my place. Authorized a third dose of the bullshit for certain vulnerable patients, like solid organ transplant recipients, patients taking treatment for blood and blah, blah, and I don't want to get into it. I'm supposed to be learning about Colin Powell. I really don't give a fuck about their vaccines and their bullshit. Like, is this a story about Colin Powell or is it not? Or is this an advertisement for Pfizer, Moderna, and everybody else? You see what I'm telling you? Oh my God, I'm getting worked up. Anyway, I will end it just by saying, may Allah bless the soul and have mercy on the soul of General Colin Powell. I don't know how he lived his life. He seemed to be a respectable, honorable man for what I knew of him. I ask Allah to ease the grief of his family and those who knew him personally for the loss that this will be to their lives and the absence that it will mean, and that he not be tortured in his grave, that he not see the hellfire, and that Allah counts him among those with whom he is pleased on the great day of reckoning. This is the Jedi.